working on my sister's 2004 Mazda 3S. Comes with a 2.3-liter naturally aspirated engine. Just a quick story. Yesterday my sister took this car to work, and she told me when she was going to work and she was almost in the parking lot, the car just completely died. She said the radio was still working, her aux cable, whatever, electronics, but she came to press the brakes, it didn't work. She came to press the gas, it didn't work. So the car stalled, and it just died. Now, she was able to turn the car on after her shift at work and drive back here, and she brought it to me and told me, hey, fix my car, something's up with it. Now, I took the car and I turned it on, I stepped on the gas, and as I'll show you later, it kind of sounded, the exhaust kind of sounded weird, it kind of sounded deep, like a race car, even though this is not modified at all. And I came to look, at the check engine, if there was a check engine light, nothing appeared. And so, I was kind of confused, what's kind of going on. Then I finally told myself, maybe there's a pending code that's going on, something that didn't trigger the check engine light yet, but is about to come on. So I grabbed my scan tool, and I kid you not, and the car was on. And as I grabbed my scan tool and came back into the car, check engine light was on. So I put in my scan tool and checked the code, and code P2188 came up, which means the system's running too rich. Now, to kind of get into an explanation of what this is, engines either run too rich or too lean. If a car runs too lean, that means that there's too much air compared to fuel. There's a fuel-to-air ratio that the car has to maintain. And if it has too much air, your car runs lean. If it has too much fuel, it runs rich. Now, this said it ran too rich. Now, what I'm guessing is the ratio of air went down and the ratio of fuel stayed the same. So when the ratio of air went down, now the car has too much fuel, you'll flood the engine, whatever, the car runs too rich. So I'm guessing that there's something happening with the air that's not making it stay up to par with the fuel, which is making it run too rich. So I'm going to show you guys the check engine, I'm going to show you guys the code, show you guys the exhaust, and then we'll kind of go through the fix. A local mechanic said that he'll take a look at it. You guys always know I take my car to a local mechanic before I do any of this. He said it's around $350. He wanted to change a bunch of air electronics, mass airflow sensor, throttle body, and a bunch of other stuff. But I'm going to kind of take you guys through this. I'm guessing it's a mass airflow sensor that's gone bad, and we're going to try to fix that coming up. Alright guys, so we're inside the car right now, and the first thing you're going to do, I just got a OBD2 scanner. You can take this, of course, to your AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts. We're going to plug it into the OBD2 port. As you can see, I've got a check engine light. We'll go to Diagnostics, OBD2. And it looks like we've got one code. So let's kind of read that code. System running too rich at idle. So what we're going to do right now, this is code P2188, system is running too rich. Now I'm going to show you guys, after I've showed you guys this, now let me show you guys how the exhaust sounds, so you can kind of get an idea of how the exhaust sounds right now. I think what's happening is so much unburnt fuel is going through the exhaust that it's making kind of a weird noise, so I'll kind of show you that right now. So I turned the car off. Let me say this before I continue. If you bought a car used, sometimes previous owner might have put a aftermarket mass airflow sensor, and that's what I suspect is wrong with it. We're going to try to clean it out in this video, clean it out really well, clean the throttle body and everything, and then put it back together, make sure everything works. And if it does, that's great. If it doesn't, it keeps putting this, I'm probably going to go buy a mass airflow sensor. This can sometimes happen if the previous owner put an aftermarket mass airflow sensor. Sometimes they don't work to OEM specs. Sometimes they work better. It's kind of a hit or miss. This one has the OEM. This car does have almost 199,000 miles on it. Original engine, original transmission, everything. So we're going to kind of clean it. Hopefully it'll work. So let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove all this ductwork right here. Take these clips out. And that gives us access to the mass airflow sensor, which is right here. The first thing we're going to do though before touching anything electrical is obviously we want to take the negative terminal off from the battery so that we don't short anything out. Just a 10 millimeter. Now this is good anyway that we're taking the battery out because one, we don't want to short out anything, and two, we want to reset the computer. And when you take off the negative terminal and wait for 5 minutes with the terminal off, it resets everything in the computer. So when we finish this is kind of like erasing the code. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's take the electrical connection off of the mass airflow sensor. Just like that. And as you can see, there's 2 screws on the mass airflow sensor. We're going to take those out. They're just regular screws. And if you wiggle it, here's the mass airflow sensor. Now you want to be careful with this. The reason why we had to disconnect the negative terminal of the battery was because this thing measures in grams how much air goes inside the engine. This is really sensitive stuff, which is why you want to make sure you're delicately taking care of it. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to grab some of this mass airflow sensor cleaner and you're going to spray it out. So basically just grab your mass airflow sensor. I wouldn't use water again because this is sensitive stuff. And just clean the mass airflow sensor. And let this dry out. So I'm going to put it somewhere to dry, just like that. And I'm going to do some more work. Also, while I'm at it, I'm probably going to clean right in here with some electrical cleaner. You could use WD-40 as well. Just clean the electrical part. Maybe the connection is why the mass airflow sensor isn't working right. Again, you have to let this dry out. And I'm going to clean this as well. Let that dry out as well. Now, the next thing I would do is, as you're wait for these 2 parts to dry, I would kind of look around, see if there's any hoses that are not connected. Sometimes if you were working on a car previously, maybe you forgot to return a hose back, and that's maybe why you might have a vacuum leak, which isn't allowing enough air inside of the engine. Maybe you misplaced a air hose that goes inside the intake manifold, you forgot to put it on, for instance. That could lead to the system running too rich. So we're just going to kind of look around in here, make sure that all the hoses are in place, make sure all hoses are connected and on both sides, and just look around the breather hoses, for instance, make sure that's all good, and do a full inspection of the car. So, gave this half an hour to kind of cool off and dry up. Now basically we're just going to do the reverse order. Plug in the mass airflow sensor right here. Put the electrical connection in. Make sure this clicks. Just like that. Then we're going to grab the 2 screws we took this off with. Put those back in. And the last thing we should have to do is replace all the ductwork, all the ducts that go inside the battery, and then replace the negative terminal on the battery. Replace the negative terminal. And tighten up the bolt. And then this is a little tricky to get in. Just like that. Then now we're going to start check engine light goes off, kind of drive it around a little bit. Alright guys, so we're inside the car, we're going to turn the car on. Check engine light went off. That's a good thing. It doesn't mean you won the battle, however. We're going to go take this car out for a drive, and you're going to kind of come along for part of the drive with us. We're not going to show you the whole thing, because that would bore you to death. But we'll kind of show you, take you out for a drive, and then see if it comes back on. Because if your check engine light still comes back on, I would erase the code and then drive if you follow the procedures I told you. Take the car, erase the code, take the car out for a drive. If it comes back on, I honestly suggest a mass airflow sensor is bad. Buy a Mazda one. Yeah, it's going to be more expensive, but I promise you, at least it's Mazda genuine. Mazda built the car, so I'm pretty sure they know what's best for this vehicle. Alright guys, so I know this is probably a little dangerous, but I am in the neighborhood and going really slow. I just wanted to show you that check engine light still has not come on, which is great. I took the car around the block, gave it some good pulls, still nothing happened. Now I'm coming back home, but it honestly looks like the check engine light's gone, which is a great thing. Alright guys, so this was a job successful. I'm super happy. Obviously I'll keep all the cleaners that I use in the description below, as well if you, God forbid, need a new mass airflow sensor, I can put one of those in the description below. Actually, if you just, if you visit your local Mazda dealership at the parts, they should be able to give you one. AutoZone and Advanced sell one, but again, those are aftermarket. If you want to go a step further than what we did today, I would honestly go and clean the throttle body. Maybe that's full of carbon buildup. As well. So if there's that, I'll put a link in the description below of my YouTube video that shows how to clean a mass airflow sensor and a throttle body in the description. Below. The reason why this check engine probably came on was probably because the mass airflow sensor had carbon buildup on it and it had false readings and whatnot. Next video coming up shortly after this one actually. Is how to change spark plugs in this Mazda. So stay tuned. If you have any questions, please comment them below. And if you have any ideas for what the next video should be, you can either message me at my email, which is in the description, or you can leave a comment in the